In today's lesson, we'll be learning a few important techniques when it comes to deep frying proteins. Firstly is the dry brine, which we've already covered in the previous lesson. This is important because the moisture created by reverse osmosis will allow the flour to stick to our chicken. The second is the use of the double dredge. Now the culinary term dredge simply means to coat with flour, with of course the addition of spices. First, this double coat allows for the flavor from your flour and spice mixture to be reinforced, as there's two coatings rather than one. Secondly, it helps to bond the crust to the flesh more effectively rather than a single coating, which when eaten may easily slide off. If you've ever experienced this with fried chicken, it's definitely not pleasant. And third, the extra layer will seal in the juices and provide that extra crunch. In between dredging, we'll be using an egg wash. The culinary philosophy behind breading or dredging proteins is that you always want to go from wet to dry and then dry to wet. Essentially, a moist chicken into dry flour to be coated, then into an egg wash to become wet again, and finally back into the flour to be coated a second time. We'll also be adding spices to our flour mixture. It's important when seasoning your flour to always use dried herbs and spices. For example, never use grated garlic or ginger, but use their powdered versions instead. Heat control is also very important when deep frying. We're aiming for our oil to read at 335 to 350 degrees Fahrenheit after dropping in our chicken. This means that prior to, it'll need to be around 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This is because once items are added, the temperature of the oil can decrease significantly depending on if the item is cold or at room temperature. At certain times during the fry, a good habit is to check your temperature with a thermometer to ensure it maintains this range. Now a great rule of thumb is to fry the legs and breasts separately as they both have different cooking times. However, with the dry brine method, you can usually get away with this as the extra moisture within the breasts will keep them from drying out. And lastly, the resting process after deep frying. This is imperative to achieving a juicy chicken, as already mentioned in the previous lesson. So, with all that being said, let's get right into it by first creating a spice dredge that will coat our chicken. In a mixing bowl, add 1 cup of flour, half a cup of cornstarch, half a cup of rice flour, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of ginger powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. We'll then whisk to combine thoroughly. Next is our chicken. So here I have the breasts which I've cut into 2, and as you can see, I've kept the entire wing on this portion. And here's the other portion, which is the bottom half of the breast. And of course, we have the drums and the thighs. Next, we're going to flip our chicken over and season generously with salt. Now, seasoning the skin isn't as effective as the fat acts as a barrier to the salt penetrating, so therefore, always attempt to season the flesh. Now remember, when seasoning, you always want to keep one hand dedicated to handling the raw protein and the other as your hand to season with. For the drums, we'll pull back the skin so we can expose the flesh. And lastly, we'll season the thighs. We'll let this sit for 30 to 45 minutes so that the salt can penetrate. Now after the time has elapsed, as you can see, the salt has entered the protein, and as mentioned, the surface moisture will help with our flour to stick on our first round of dredging. Next is our egg wash. So we'll place 2 eggs in a shallow bowl. along with a tablespoon of buttermilk. I'll then beat this with a fork until homogeneous. And there's our egg wash. Next, we're going to dredge our chicken. First step is to make sure you dedicate one hand for your flour mixture and one hand for your egg wash. Place your chicken into the dredge and coat evenly. Once thoroughly coated, shake off any excess. We'll then add it to our egg wash and notice how I switch hands. And we'll make sure this is fully coated as well. Finally, we'll once again add to our flour mixture, and this is when you want to make sure it has a thicker coating. And a great technique is to press your protein firmly into the dredge, which will create crevices and grooves that'll give our chicken a beautiful texture when we go to fry. We'll shake off any excess. And this is exactly what I'm looking for, these scraggly pieces that will crisp up nicely when frying. Now again, with a breast, we'll use the exact same technique. In the dredge for a thin coating, add to the egg wash, switch hands, and a light coating here as well. We'll then add this back to our dredge for a final coating, hence why they call it the double dredge. Again, I'll squeeze and press in order to get those beautiful jagged edges. Next is our frying oil. In a brazier or round Dutch oven, you'll want to add a neutral oil to about halfway up the sides of the vessel. Essentially, enough oil so that the chicken can be submerged. We'll then charge this on a high heat and temp it with our thermometer. Now we're looking for 375 degrees Fahrenheit because as soon as I add the chicken, the temperature will drop to between 335 and 350. And this is the ideal temperature for frying chicken. Now as you can see, when I added the chicken, the bubbles were vigorous as the water within the cells of the protein are racing towards the surface and bursting into steam. However, as we progress through our cook, the bubbles will become calmer and that loud sizzling sound will dissipate. After a few minutes, we'll flip our chicken to cook the other side. I'll temp the oil again to ensure I don't need to adjust my heat. Now this is what we want our fried chicken to look like, almost like the color of hay, this beautiful golden brown throughout. I'll continue to turn my chicken every 1 to 2 minutes to evenly brown both sides. Now the calmer the bubbles, the closer the chicken is to being done. As you can see, the bubbles here are calm and intermittent, so our chicken is almost done. Also, if you wish, you can use a thermometer to check the internal temperature. Chicken breast should read at 165 degrees Fahrenheit and legs at 175 degrees Fahrenheit. And here we are, absolutely beautiful. A golden crust that resembles the color of hay. We'll place onto a wire rack to rest for at least 15 minutes. We'll do the same exact process with the remaining pieces, turning every 1 to 2 minutes until the bubbles have calmed. And here's our beautiful chicken thigh. You can also use a spider to remove. Next, I'll make a quick creamy coleslaw to pair with our fried chicken. So here I have a bowl of cabbage, carrots, and scallions. For our ranch dressing, add 3/4 of a cup of yogurt, 1 tablespoon of buttermilk, 1 clove of crushed garlic, the juice from 1 lemon wedge, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a combination of 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley, 1 tablespoon of chopped dill, and 1 teaspoon of chopped mint, as well as a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We'll then whisk to combine. We'll then add 3 to 4 tablespoons into our slaw mixture with a small pinch of salt and mix until fully coated. I'll then plate our fried chicken and serve with our creamy slaw. And here's our beautiful fried chicken dish. I'll take a bite. And this was amazing. The meat was extremely tender, falling off the bone, and the surface was super crispy and packed full of flavor. So, there you have it, fried chicken cooked to perfection. On your deep frying journey, always remember these techniques as you can practically fry any protein or vegetable in this manner and provide a textural component, prolonging the release of flavor onto the palate. When plating, we used a large white plate so that the colors of the ingredients stand out and pop. We also plated directly in the center, which allowed for white space on the perimeter, putting the food on the center stage. Another small detail is we tightly plated our slaw right next to the fried chicken. This concept of compact plating will be discussed and utilized more and more throughout this module. In the next lesson, we'll be searing and glazing our deboned chicken leg for a beautiful teriyaki dish. I'll see you there.